GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
So, Fat Man.
Sleazy?
Let's address the elephant in the room.
That's not an elephant, that's a cat.
Sure. So, one of the things that we've always talked about over the years is our shows are Conrad Thompson long, okay?
Let's, well, I don't know about that now.
Yeah, well, now he's going like 4 hours on every episode, so.
No, he's not. He's going like an hour on every episode.
Is he? About time.
So, the latest episode of the Bruce Pritchard one was on like the 96 Rumble. They talked about it for maybe 45 minutes. The rest were ads.
Ooh. Yeah. The one before it was nearly 3.5 hours long because he spent an hour and a half talking about that area of time. They didn't actually get to the show until like nearly 2 hours in, including all the ads. But yeah, it's one of the biggest criticisms of our show, and we get that. We've spent years doing this, and sometimes we get on a roll, and before you know it, 90 minutes goes by and we haven't even started the show. So what we're trying to do is keep this down to a manageable level. So with that, let's go to the show. Welcome, everyone. This is Sleazy.
This is the Fat Man.
And welcome, everyone, to another wonderful episode. Blue Smock Nancy, they're awesome. They let us use that wonderful song, Unsettling Differences. You can find them on iTunes and Spotify. Fat Man, what have we got on the docket today?
I'm petting a pussy right now.
We just did that speech of saying our shows are too long. And your first bit is, I'm petting a pussy.
So we got a show to cover, and we're actually going to cover news and rumors.
For the first time in 3 months.
But I'm only going to do 2 weeks worth.
Fuck ye.
We'd have a whole 7 shows on news and rumors if you want to keep this about an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah, that would be 2 shows right there.
So let's start off with the pay-per-view. NXT TakeOver.
Whoa. It's Tuesday. The show was Sunday. How did we both watch it between then and now?
I watched it this morning.
I watched it the next day. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for us.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to watch Elimination Chamber probably Monday because I'll be at work Tuesday or Sunday night. So
I'll be watching that live. So
I'll be able to. So NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, they missed the booking on St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which they already own the right. I don't fucking know.
Why didn't they?
I don't fucking know. I was just like, Vengeance Day? Huh? Whatever.
I don't know what to tell you. I really don't.
So the show kicked off with the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament Final. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Match went 17 minutes to 41 seconds. Obviously, Meltzer's star ratings are not out yet because he was a bitch and fuck Dave Meltzer. So I got John Cannons again.
Good for John.
John gave this 3.5. I think he's an underrated piece of shit.
Okay.
I gave it 4. The match started out intense and it stayed that way throughout. It was like both teams wanted to win. They had a sense of purpose, which obviously the winner got a women's tag team title shot, but it actually felt like both teams wanted to win the match. Some weird spots in here. The heels doing the hope spot where Ember and Shotzi were working on Dakota Kai's leg and then distracting the referee. It was weird. Then the faces arguing with the ref. That was a weird spot. Gonzalez is still super green. It looked like she was very timid to take the big bumps that she did.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But that crossbody from the top rope with Dakota Kai on Shotzi's shoulders was fucking sick.
Yeah.
Onto the floor. I thought it was a great match. Gonzalez was still green, was made to look like a beast. So, yeah, I really liked it. 4 stars.
Actually, I agree with John on this one. I only gave it 3.5. The one, I think people overlook the fact, and your rating, your 4-star rating, you're not the only person to say that. A lot of people actually said this was 4 stars. I disagree mainly because of the fact that it wasn't just one spot. There was an entire segment of the match where Shotzi and Ember did outright heelish stuff and Dakota Kai was getting cheered. I mean, that's a big problem when you're talking about somebody with this team that was supposed to be this, the heel team.
That's on the agents. That's on the agents for the match.
I'm not saying it isn't.
The performers went out there and did what they were told to do, but it was weird.
It still takes away from the match for me.
No, I agree.
Like, for instance, you talked a little bit about the tag spot. So basically, what happens is, they do the double down, and was it Shotzi to Ember, right? Shotzi tags in Ember, right? Behind the ref's back. And instead of just now keep in mind, Dakota Kai is out. She's starting to slowly crawl towards Raquel. They tag. The ref says, I didn't see you guys tag. What the fuck are you doing? Then you have them jaw-jacking with the ref instead of just tagging again. They're literally right there tagging. It's not like she couldn't go, well, I gotta go walk all the way back to Ember and tag. No, they're standing right there. It is a stupid spot to begin with the additional stupidity of they're going to argue with the ref rather than catch Dakota who's trying to get a tag. And it actually made a fucking, it was outright, they got Dakota cheered. And there was a couple other spots in the match where Dakota got cheered. And when the hot tag happened, they literally did a babyface fire spot with Raquel. I mean, what the fuck are you guys doing? It was a very strange, set of spots there. There were a lot of, points in the match where Dakota Kai was getting just strange fucking, offense taken to her. It made no sense. But the two teams worked really, really well together otherwise. So it's like, it's a good match, but I have to take away from the fact that it was booked so weird.
It also, women's tag team wrestling is also in a flux to where you now mostly have 2 singles competitors teaming up to form a tag team. Well, there's not established tag teams, kind of like the Iconics. They're not, you know what I mean?
I mean, outside of the Iconics, who do you see as a true tag team?
Who aren't together anymore.
I mean, even if there were, you had the Kabuki Warriors, which still technically they were 2 single stars that got put together, but LOL Asian, so obviously that was the case. Then you had like the Riot Squad, which was technically a 3-person team, but outside of that, there was really nobody from the get-go. So it's like, so to see Dakota Kai and Raquel be put together as a team is pretty interesting. Having at least Ember and Shotzi put together matching outfits, okay, that's a little better. But there were a lot of teams in this tournament that were just you and you put together. Get going.
So now that Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez won their heels, aren't the women's tag team champions also heels?
Right. You mean the Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, the 2 people that lost the titles for a month because of LOL stupidity and then won them back because of LOL stupidity?
Yeah, sure.
The state of women's tag wrestling in WWE. But I can't say much because 3 years ago it didn't exist, so.
Yeah. NXT North American Championship. Johnny Gargano defends against Kushida. Match with 24 minutes to 49 seconds. John Kent gave it 4 3/4. I agree.
I don't.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Of course, Asian. What an outstanding match. They worked their asses off.
Mm-hmm.
The psychology was perfect. It was an old school wrestling match, working on a body part. Gargano selling throughout the match is what wrestlers need to study more. Can't go 5 stars due to there was one botch, but that was when they went to go try to flip over into an armbar and Gargano kind of slipped out of it. But both men are so pros, they transitioned right into another move, so they were able to do it right there.
I was talking to a friend of the show, we'll just say that, who is a professional wrestler. And one of the things that we were talking about was the fact that there's a big problem right now going on in WWE where stuff is over-rehearsed to the point where everything looks too crisp. Everything looks too too smooth as butter, and just everything's just flowing way too perfectly. And in some cases, it almost doesn't look like a fight anymore. And sometimes you almost need, I don't want to say a full-on botch, but something that looks like you had to, make something work out of nothing. And I think a spot like that is perfect for a match like that, because they were fighting tooth and nail for the entire match. And I feel like that botch not only did it not hurt the match, but I think it helped it. And I feel like that this is one of, I hate to say this, multiple 5-star matches on this show. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what the other one is. We'll talk about it later. It's fine.
I'm not going to call you an overrated piece of shit. Because this was the best match on the show.
I would agree with that, actually.
But yeah, it was the best match on the show.
There is no question it was the best match on the show. I love the fact that they got rid of the way. I love the fact it was just one-on-one. And honestly, I love the fact it was a clean finish with Johnny winning.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Beautiful, perfect match of the year contender without question.
There's no 5-star match on the show. But anyway.
Go fuck yourself. How's that sound?
Men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament Final. Grizzly Young Veterans versus MSK, or the Rascals from Impact. Match for 18 minutes and 26 seconds. Canton gave it 4 1/4. I gave it 4 1/2. Where the fuck were these Rascals in fucking Impact?
I don't know. I really don't know. This was amazing.
And
I agree with your rating too. It's 4.5 stars.
It was so good, fantastic. Grizzly Young Veterans more mat based. MSK was more high flying, and they fucking meshed perfectly. What a fun match! And both teams again worked their asses off. They
worked their asses off because it felt like they were competing for something.
Which they were.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily hold true when there's title matches even. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But these two teams really put it out there. And I feel like that I'm going to get a lot of shit for saying this. And I know, but I don't care. Grizzled Young Vets are the next iteration of the Revival. They really are. And I feel like that done correctly, they could be used in that same role.
Okay.
That's it? That's all you got?
I'm trying to keep this under an hour. Fuck you for saying that.
Yeah, see, here we go.
They're nothing like the Revival at all, but
everything like the Revival.
They could fit into that role, but yeah, they're nothing like them, but okay. You're always wrong. I don't fucking get it. No, Sleazy's favorite match of the show, because it's a triple threat match. It's women's in it. There's an Asian in it, and an Asian won it. So this is obviously the other 5-star match.
Yes, obviously.
Io Shirai versus Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez, 12 minutes and 13 seconds. Ken gave it 3 1/4. I gave it 3. I thought it was a good match. There's nothing special. I would like to see a one-on-one match between Io and Storm, and I laughed my ass off when that table broke, when literally they just looked at it.
Oh, yeah. Just the opposite of our tables don't break. By the way, You failed to mention one other minor detail about the match. Also featured a former 2CW star in Mercedes Martinez. I wasn't as kind as you were.
I know you weren't. It's a triple threat match.
It was a terrible triple threat match. It was 2.5 stars. I wouldn't call it
terrible.
Well, I mean,
it wasn't your normal triple threat match. So there was 2 on the outside and 1 in the ring.
That's true.
It only happened for maybe like 2 minutes in the match.
And yet, it still wasn't booked well. It looked like shit. There are a couple of spots that were nice. Io jumping from the rafters was nice. Although Mercedes missed her entirely and Tony took it all.
Yep.
The table breaking was funny. Obviously they had to figure out something else because that was supposed to be some sort of spot. Yeah, just wasn't a fan. Obviously Io winning immediately makes it 5 stars, but I have to take 2.5 stars off because of everything else.
So it was an okay match for a house show?
Yeah, it wasn't. It's terrible. It was the
worst match on the show.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. It's terrible for a takeover match. As long as it doesn't involve cinematic matches featuring Dexter Lumis.
Okay, now the match is sleazy. Is an overrated piece of shit on NXT title. Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne, 25 minutes, 11 seconds. Canton gave it 4 1/4. And I even think that's generous. I gave it 4. I thought the match was great. Technical and hard hitting like it's supposed to do. It was predictable. Technical and hard hitting the way that they both are. Finn Balor winning was no surprise at all. The more surprise was actually the post match, but we'll get to that.
Wow. You both are overrating pieces of shit. 3.5 stars. What the hell are you guys talking about?
Multiple 5-star matches on the show.
Yeah, of course there was multiple. Asian.
I know.
Multiple Asians.
There was no Asian in this. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why it was only 3.5 stars. Don't get me wrong. First of all, let's talk about Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne absolutely needs to stop wearing skinny jeans because it makes him look like a fucking loser.
Everybody who wears skinny jeans makes you look like a loser.
Well,
everybody.
The problem is when you're supposed to look like a badass, you look like a 120-pound soaking wet piece of shit, honestly. Which, whatever. But in terms of this match, it was an extended Finn Balor match. I didn't think it was that entertaining, honestly. I was not a fan of it. There was technical moments in it. There were a lot of decent spots in it, but considering I watched it yesterday, I barely remember the match. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like,
well, you don't remember what you did 5 minutes ago. So
that's true, but I remember
you overrated a Kushida match. That's what you did 5 minutes ago.
First of all, by a 1/4 star in your fucking mind, because you're a fucking mark, of course. Mr.
I'm the mark.
Yeah, you're the fucking mark. You're the fucking mark.
I'm the mark that underrated.
The Johnny Gargano mark over there. And then you come over here and you rate this one damn near, well, not damn near 4 stars. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It wasn't my cup of tea and I just didn't like it. It doesn't mean it wasn't a technically sound match. It was a good match. It wasn't what I consider a better match than 3.5 stars. I'll leave it at that.
I think Pete Dunne held his own. Like, I think he proved that he'd be in the main event, but I don't know.
I think he'd be in the main event of an NXT show, and that's about it. Yeah. I don't think they'll ever raise him above maybe mid-card on the main roster. And the frank reality is because he's too small.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that, but it's absolutely the truth because that's what WWE is.
Okay, so let's talk about after the match. So Oni and Tui come out.
Yep.
And start beating the shit out of Balor.
Yep.
Undisputed Era comes out to make the save. And then Cole super kicks Balor.
Why? Do you know why?
Because he was jelly.
No. Because everyone was doing the Undisputed Era signal. And Balor did the finger point instead. So fuck him.
Okay, whatever. But then why did he super kick O'Reilly then?
Because he was in super kick distance and Cole accidentally pressed the special button on his controller and accidentally super kicked him.
I fucking hate you so much.
Chugs, what are you doing here?
So fucking much. I fucking hate you. Like a
Chugs
lot.
chugging up a fucking match once again.
John, in his write-up, wrote about, I think, Undisputed Era's it's finally, it's run its course. I don't think so. They've been together for a long time, yes, but, man, I don't think they've run their course. I think, no, well, maybe.
What's left?
I think Cole should go heel and be a single.
Well,
keep Red Dragon together.
Well, there's two things. They can keep Red Dragon together because Bobby's still out.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know how many more injuries he's got left in him before he's calling in a career. So keeping them together would be fine. Roddy's always been in that weird spot of always the enforcer, never the fucking single star. That happened when he was in the Decade. That happened when he was doing all the shit in Ring of Honor. That's every single place he's been. He's been the Arn of the group.
Isn't he a former ROH champion?
Yeah, I know. See, Davey Richards is also a former ROH champion, but you best know him as part of the Wolves.
You know how this is a former ROH world champion? PCO. That tells you how prestigious the ROH world title is.
Over the last few years, yeah, it has dropped in stock, to say the least. I think that we're at the moment with we'll talk about the Forbidden Door in News and Rumors, I assume. What's that?
Forbidden Door.
The three-way promotions working together.
Yeah.
That's
kind of. Yeah, we'll touch on it.
Yeah. But anyway, the point being is that Ring of Honor is completely divorced from that, and that's not going to help anything. If anything, it's going to make things worse. In terms of the show, that was a major angle. Strangely enough, one of the bits that came up was the fucking Cameron Grimes music video. It was funny, but why? Really? And then the opening of the show was a promo for the entire card, but it was done in I don't even know who that is, first of all.
I don't know what it is either.
But
they have a rap
why?
To open up the show, but the official theme song is a metal band.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did it that way. Whatever, I guess. I don't know. I guess they're just hanging on to whatever they can. Cool, great. If it puts more eyes on the product, whatever at this point. But yeah, overall the show is great.
So I said last show about Wrestle Kingdom, about how it's going to be very tough for that to be dethroned from Event of the Year, and then NXT goes, hold my beer.
Yeah, really. It was really good.
This was a great NXT show. No match was, I thought, bad. Every match was good to great and excellent. Man, I don't know. It's up there with Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, this is what happened last year with Wrestle Kingdom and then TakeOver Portland.
For you.
Well, for me. You were on that too.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, you were.
Sure the hell wasn't.
Sure the hell was. You'd be an overrating piece of shit if you didn't stay with us after this ad.
So we blew through that. Let's blow through a page and a half of News and Rumors.
Let's talk about the Forbidden Door. I'm not sure if it's actually in your News and Rumors or not.
It kinda is.
Okay, so it's a big deal, okay? And I know you're going to sit there and shit on it, but I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. So the point is, you've got AEW working with Impact. That was already starting to happen. But then, kind of independently, what happened was that Impact and New Japan were also working together. On top of that, AEW and New Japan have now also got their own working agreement. So you have these three relatively large, relatively successful TV deal companies starting to share talent. And it's already happening with Impact having Finjuice is going over there. There's been rumors here and there that Okada's going somewhere. I don't even know about that. But you had Kenta come up on AEW because Moxley is the US IWGP champ. And they're continuing that feud. But also just the concept of three different companies working together side by side and starting to share talent is pretty interesting. And it's being called the Forbidden Door because of a promo that Tony Khan made about it, where he's opened the Forbidden Door and is allowing talent to go back and forth through AEW and stuff. And I find it an interesting concept. My concern about it is what usually happens with these types of working agreements is one company gets a little big in their britches and starts booking their stars over everybody else. And then
AEW.
I don't think so.
It's happening right now.
It is happening right now to an extent. I don't think it'll happen with the Kenta match though.
Name me one match that an Impact star is beating an AEW star.
I can. I know. What do you want me to tell you?
Wait. The Good Brothers did beat Private Party, but were helped by an AEW star.
Yeah.
So, technically that, but an AEW star helped them. So,
well,
no.
Here's the thing is, who needs
Impacts look like fucking garbage. So what it is like, okay, AEW's like, we'll give you your wrestlers, we'll pop your rating, but we're going to beat all your talent, make you look like shit.
I think they're waiting for Swan to beat Omega one-on-one. That's what I'm really thinking they're going to do.
If they ever do it.
Oh, they will do it. Absolutely. 100% they'll do it. 100% they'll do it.
I'm still iffy. It's 50-50 at this point. They'll do it or they won't. They have to do it.
I believe
will
they
do it?
I believe they should. I believe they should.
They have to do it. Not even a should. They have to do it.
Especially when he's pinned him before. So I think that the big issue right now is that you really got to watch who you're booking where. I think that Moxley is going to get eaten by Kenta. I really do believe that. Yeah.
And I think the only reason Kenta's over here is to win the U.S. title, take it back to Japan. Because travel restrictions. If it wasn't for COVID, this would be great. This would actually be absolutely fantastic.
We're getting to the end of this, though. I feel like that in 4 to 5 months, and I know we've been saying this forever. I would say not even 4 to 5 months.
For a whole year, we were saying 3 to 4 months is over.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that we're currently at 4% vaccinated in our country. We are looking at approximately 1 million doses a week. That's not bad. If everything goes the way it goes and people start going, you know what? Fuck you guys. We're not doing anything else. And start ripping off masks, which I think will happen by spring. We'll have these restrictions lifted. I'm pretty sure.
I hope so.
They're already starting.
I want to go to wrestling events.
Me too. And the way it's
just realized the other day that in 2018, 2019, and 2020, I went to pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I want to go to an event.
Well, we're probably going to 2CW.
Yes, I know. I want to be with people again.
Yeah. And
I want to go to sporting events. I want to go to concerts. Maybe not concerts. I'm too old. But I want to go to wrestling events and shit like that. I want to go out and do shit.
You 35, 36. You ain't too old.
My body. Yeah, the last time I went to a concert, I was like 33, 32, 33. Yeah, my body felt it for a week, so I'm too old.
That's not too old. You're too broken down, bitch.
Yeah, we know about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, go back to this AEW thing. And the Forbidden Door is another thing that could happen is, say, I have the news and rumors talking about now. Like, and you touched on it. Okada's rumored to go into Impact and AEW. Don't know when because of travel restrictions. Don't know for how long. Blah blah blah. What if Okada gets hurt?
They would send somebody else. They'd send Tanahashi.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, if one of these big stars goes to another company, gets hurt in that other company, they'll be like, I don't know, we might back off. You're costing us. Like, Okada's a huge draw. I know Tanahashi is. Ibushi won't go over there. Maybe Naito or something like that, but like Jay White maybe. But like, those are their 4 or 5 big stars. Like, if one of them gets hurt, man, it could really end the relationship. I understand you always could just send someone out, but man, I don't think it'd be like, we're not going to send a big name like that. We'll probably send like Sonata over there or something, but I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. I don't believe that's the case. I think that, especially when it would be one thing if they sent Okada over to GCW, you know what I mean? Where they're definitely helping out some little company come up. AEW is big enough that they have a level of stardom a level of experience. I'm not even going to go into stardom at this point. Just guys that have been working for 15, 20 years that know how to protect each other. That, obviously injuries are going to happen. They do all the time. Fucking A. They've been happening all the time, even in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But to blame that on another company
I'm not saying blame it on another company. I'm saying if it happens in another company. Not saying they're blaming on it. Like you said, accidents happen. They're going to be, oh shit, one of our stars got hurt in another company. We don't want to send any more talent. Not like they're going to blame them. Like, we can't afford to lose any more people.
Yeah, but that injury could have happened in New Japan. It could have happened in AEW. But I don't see the reasoning why they would pull talent over it.
Money?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. At this point, they would lose revenue if Okada got hurt on a house show circuit going through New Japan, same as if they were getting hurt in AEW. You know what I mean? There's no difference between the two. That star's going to be out no matter what. And if it's going to help bolster a relationship, especially if New Japan now has access to AEW talent that
which they've already had.
Not necessarily. Only a few AEW stars had stipulations in their contract that they could go to Japan.
So Jericho, Moxley, Archer came from New Japan.
Yep. And that's about it.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, there are other
who else? Who's
Sting?
Sting. So Sting's going to go to Japan and wrestle a strong style match at 95 years old.
Doesn't have to.
Just shows up there and be like, Sting.
That's what he's been doing in AEW. What else is the difference? I mean, there's a lot of talent that could absolutely pop New Japan because they would never have seen them otherwise. Eddie Kingston.
That's a name drop for sure. Eddie Kingston.
You don't understand how awesome an Ishii Kingston match would be.
Eddie Kingston.
It made my nipples hard.
King of a 2-star match.
Yeah, fuck you. But that's my point, is that there's a breadth of talent that could go to New Japan and not just pop the New Japan crowd, but also become bigger stars in themselves. So when they come back, they've come back as bigger stars. So I think
fail to see your logic. So
of course you fail to see. You don't understand anything I say.
So more people in the U.S. watch AEW than they do New Japan. So when they go to New Japan, they'll be bigger stars when they come back to AEW?
Yes, from a worldwide perspective. Because AEW is a primarily U.S. company.
Okay.
That's the only major reason to do it the other way around, is because you want to put a worldwide footprint out there. And AEW needs that. They only have a US TV deal. They only have US stars. They only have, this little bubble of US stuff going on right now. To make more money, they need to expand worldwide. This is a great way of doing it.
the AEW World Championship has been on New Japan television.
Yes.
I think it would be beneficial the other way around for New Japan stars to go to AEW to get
that's why it's mutually beneficial, though.
No. I'm not. I'm just, what you said was AEW stars going to New Japan to be bigger stars when they come back. I don't see that, but I see it the other way around.
I say both of them, both ways would happen. You're making more international stars in AEW, and New Japan's making more US stars.
Okay.
That's what I think. That's the major reason to do it.
I still think AEW's already been on New Japan television. Like I know Jericho has, and
but Jericho
Moxley has, but I fail to see anyone on the AEW roster to go to New Japan and make that big of an impact. That's my thing.
So 2 things about Jericho.
I can see Ibushi, Okada, Naito, Kenda's already there, Jay White. I can see them going over and making a splash. I can name nobody on AEW to go to New Japan. There may be one name and one match I would want to see. Ospreay, Orange Cassidy. That would be
amazing. That would be it. Admittedly, that would be amazing. But take a look. You could have, you forget the tag teams. Guerrillas of Destiny versus FTR versus the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party versus even the Good Brothers. Granted that they're Impact, but still, having Guerrillas of Destiny run against the Young Bucks even. There's a bunch of
seen before.
That one you have seen before. And that was such a terrible match that no one would ever want to see again, ever, especially since they haven't seen it in years. It was an okay match for a house show. Yeah, but there's my point is that all of those teams,
the Revival versus Guerrillas of Destiny, sure. Private Party.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Maybe. Roppongi 3K. Put him against them. That would be amazing. Put him against Finjuice. There's a bunch of great.
I think Finjuice is overrated, but okay.
Whatever. The point is that there's a lot of great potential matchups that you could see in New Japan crossing over with AEW. I just don't think you're seeing it from a international standpoint. Where
I do for New Japan to AEW. I don't for AEW. For
but you're saying it as okay. They're bigger stars because they've gone to the U.S. That's not the truth.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying those stars in New Japan will get... Actually, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because more people in the U.S. watch AEW. When these New Japan stars go over, they'll bring over maybe some U.S. audiences. I don't see New Japan or Japanese wrestling fans going over and sticking to AEW. They'll watch it when if their stars are there. They may stick around for a little bit, but I think they'll slowly die off. But I do think more U.S. fans are going to shift over to the Japanese style than Japanese fans shift over to the U.S. style.
I disagree. And that's all I can say. Mainly because this is a great way to get AEW into a foreign market. It's perfect.
A market that they've already been in. That's my thing.
No, they haven't though. You're saying it like, they've already had a presence because a couple of stars went to New Japan. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about TV deals. I'm talking about shows that AEW
presence. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're not seeing that. You're absolutely not seeing that because you're saying, it's just because it's New Japan. No, it's not just that. It's Japan. It's South Korea. It's all over in that Asia Pacific, ring there. You can do a lot of damage from a financial perspective by getting into those markets. There's a reason why people love to get into China, even though they have to look the other way with the whole bullshit with the concentration camps there. So there's a reason, and it's money. It's always money. It will always forever be money.
Yeah.
You sit here and you talk about how AEW's not making all that much money because it's, backed by a billionaire that doesn't give a shit. This is exactly the thing that they need to do to make money.
They need to make money by touring and live events, which they can't do right now. WWE, on the other hand, is a good transition. Doesn't need to.
Why is that, Fat Man?
Because I have their Q4 and full 2020 financial highlights.
Holy shit.
Well, it's actually not that long. So, their Q4 was actually slightly down, which is weird. Revenue was $238.2 million, a decrease of 26%, or $84.6 million from last year. Well, this
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Because it's reflected on the company's large-scale event in Saudi Arabia and ticketed live events. Operating income was $36.2 million, a decrease of 64%, or $63.6 million. Adjusted EBITDA, which, if you read the Nitro book, you know what that is, which I still want back, fucker.
It's still sitting on my
you've had it for
bookshelf. I've read one chapter.
We just passed your 2-year running average. You've had it for at least 2 years and a month, fucker. Yep. Adjusted EBITDA was $51.2 million, a decrease of 52%, or $56.4 million. WWE Network subscribers were 1.5 million, which was an increase of 6%. Now, WWE's 2020 highlights. Revenue was $974.2 million, an increase of 1%, or $13.8 million.
Okay.
As a gross in core content rights fees was largely offset by the loss of ticket revenue and the absence of large-scale international events. They lost all that and still gained $14 million.
Pretty good.
Operating income was $208.6 million, an increase of 79%, or $92.1 million, driven by the substantial rise in content rights fees, which was a high incremental margin.
Yep.
Adjusted EBITDA raised a record $286.2 million, an increase of 59%, or $106.2 million. Digital video views were 38 billion, an increase of 10%, and hours consumed were 1.4 billion, an increase of also 10%.
Bringing in that YouTube money.
WWE Shop generated a free cash flow. Do you know what a free cash flow is?
Tell the viewers, because we don't know.
Fucker. I did look it up earlier, but
so while you're doing all those numbers, $974 million for a company that lost most of their events, including WrestleMania. So all the live merch sales that you get off of house shows, the actual ticket sales, if they had food and beverage agreements at buildings, they lost all that, and they still managed to make more money this year than they did last year.
Free cash flow represents the cash a company generates after accounting for cash outflows to support operations and maintains capital assets, which pretty much means after they pay off, unlike earnings or net income, free cash flow is a measure of profitability that excludes the non-cash expense of the income statement and concludes spending on equipment and assets as well as changes in working capital for the balance sheet. So pretty much after they paid off all their debts.
This is what their money comes in.
So.
What is that number?
WWE Shop generated.
As you cover your face, by the way.
Sorry. $292 million in free cash flow, an increase of 562%.
So what happens when you have a bunch of extra income, you don't know what you want to buy.
$52 million in 2019.
Their merch store just churning. Fucking
and Bad
churning.
Bunny made $500,000 on his merch sales
alone.
And that was from the Royal Rumble till today.
So for people bitching,
he's the number one seller on WWE Shop right now.
His shirt at one point, his merchandise was 1, 3, and 4 on their top sellers.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck are you guys doing? God damn it.
And the funny thing is, the other person on the top 10 is a heel, Roman Reigns. Or in the top 5, sorry. Is a heel, Roman Reigns.
I have no words to that. What the fuck are you guys doing in terms of
their ratings are the lowest that they've ever been, but they're making way more fucking money than they ever have before.
It'll only matter the last year of their contracts. That's it. Yep. So, in other words,
3 separate $1 billion rights fees. 3. Insane.
It is. It absolutely is insane.
Speaking of New Japan, they are partnering with the Roku channel for broadcasting rights in the US, UK, and Canada.
I already have the channel. Ready to go.
I mean, it's free, so I hope you can have the channel.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean people actually go and see it. It's the actual Roku channel. So it's not like it's its own app or something. You just find New Japan every Tuesdays on
Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Yeah.
It's one of them. And then it's on demand immediately after.
Yep.
It ends. I mean, on the Roku TVs or on the Roku boxes, there is a Roku channel app. So, yeah. According to Dave Meltzer.
Fuck Dave Meltzer.
The amount of people who want to leave WWE and go to AEW will shock you. Cesaro signs a new contract with WWE.
That was one of the most obvious ones I've ever seen. Of course he was staying.
Okay, so I should have mentioned this. BlackRock Incorporated, I guess they bought WWE stock, or at least more of it. They now own 9% of the company.
Yeah. That's been a whole thing. They're a hedge fund, aren't they?
Well, we know what
investment management.
Well, we know what GameStop does to hedge funds. Or Reddit does the
Diamond Hands that shit, yo. Diamond Hands.
Sarah Logan and Rowe and Raymond Rowe, Eric. Welcome to Baby Boy. Welcome to Baby Boy on your wedding anniversary.
Yep.
2/9. And also, my sister gave birth on 2/9.
You know what's funny? Pat Sawyer, who's a worker down in Excite, his twins were also born on 2/9.
Yep. My 7th niece came into the world on 2/9.
Too many people came into the world at that same time. I'm sorry.
Let's get this back page done with.
Yes.
Older news. Christian, obviously, he was back in the Royal Rumble. He is going to return on a part-time basis.
Cool.
The agents for the matches at the Royal Rumble were Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, was produced by Doot.
Fuck him.
Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg was produced by Abyss.
Cool.
Sasha.
We only got 4 minutes. Let's get this going.
What are you talking about? It's 50. We got more than that. Sasha versus Carmella was Tyson Kidd.
Of course he is.
The men's Royal Rumble was Shane McMahon, Jamie Noble, and Jason Jordan. The women's Royal Rumble was Adam Pearce, Pat Buck, and Tyson Kidd. Jay Lethal.
There you go.
Jonathan Gresham have re-signed with ROH, and so have the Bouncers.
So did Roosh and Dragon Lee.
Yes. Okay, we're almost done here. Butch Reed sadly passed at the age of 66.
It's sad.
Oh, also Kenny King's re-signed with ROH. Any more ROH signings before I fucking go on?
They needed to lock down some people there because they're already losing left and right.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't Dalton sign a new contract recently? Or maybe I was thinking somebody else.
He might have, I'm not sure. Or his contract's expiring or something like that.
Yeah.
Lars Sullivan was released by WWE.
Quietly, too. No one saw it, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're gone.
And Steven Cutler was also released by WWE. Apparently, Cutler, threw a New Year's Eve party, which was strictly, a no
bueno.
And then him and his girlfriend, who happens to be the Impact Women's Champion, Deonna Purrazzo, got COVID from said party, and Vince McMahon was super fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Because he promised a safe working environment during this outbreak, and yeah.
Sorry, see ya.
Okay, bye.
Gonna have to let you go, kid.
Yo, so there's a huge free agent or not a huge free agent. There's a huge person who is taking indie bookings right now.
Davey Boy Smith Jr.?
Ken Shamrock.
We end the show on that?
No. Davey Boy Smith Jr. is apparently in talks with WWE to join NXT UK.
That'll be fun.
We already talked about Okada going to AEW Potential Impact. Jeff Cobb on going to WWE, never say never. And he says, for people who say that they don't never want to go to WWE, they're full of shit.
They are, because it's the most money you can make.
Yep.
Potentially the most money you can make.
Sorry, Sleazy. An Asian is off the market. Keith Lee and Mia Yim are engaged.
Congratulations to the two of them.
The Lacey Evans pregnancy angle, apparently she really is pregnant?
Yeah, it was a shoot. And it's going to fuck up an Elimination Chamber.
Yep,
which, thank goodness, thank God.
Guarantee you she was going to win the women's title.
Asuka being the third woman in a fucking feud once again.
Only a couple more. I'm going to save, MVP reportedly suffered a severe knee injury last night on Raw. I did not watch Raw.
I did not either.
I was playing zombies. WWE signs Blake Christian, Harlem Bravado, Christian Casanova, Taya Valkyrie, and we forgot to mention somebody who showed up on the takeover.
Yep.
Eli Drake.
No.
Or L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight.
He was still doing his, shit.
It was literally the same gimmick, but different name.
Yeah. ROH's 19th anniversary show will be March 26th, which you probably won't watch, and I will. Probably. 2 more. So we talked a while ago about WWE and their third-party fucking stupid social media account shit.
Yep.
Apparently WWE's issuing warnings to talent who name third parties on the social media. Now, they can take pictures of themselves in front of a car or a restaurant or something with the name showing. They just can't tag the people in it, and they can't actively advertise for them.
Yeah, because then they're using their likeness as a sponsorship for them. Whether or not it's paid or not, it doesn't matter.
The first violation is a warning. The second violation is a fine, and the third violation is a suspension.
Yo, cats and kittens, get yourselves your own Twitter accounts and Instagram accounts.
Okay, last one is going to depress you. We talked last year about the Speak Out movement. Joey Ryan, he actually filed lawsuits against all his accusers.
Yep.
He actually won a default judgment in a defamation case against Alley Cat. But he also had 3 lawsuits dismissed by a judge, which is such a judgy name, Michael W. Fitzgerald, for not adequately responding to the Office of Special Counsel. But Ryan can refile at any time if he chooses, because these cases were dismissed without prejudice.
Yeah. So in other words, he's got some more legal dots and crosses. The default judgment thing means that Alley Cat didn't show up.
Yep.
Is what happened. And for your quick legal tip of the day, always show up to court if somebody's suing you, because otherwise that exact thing will happen and you'll have no recourse. So that's it. Oh my God, we almost got an hour in. So, as always, Gear Network, WrestlingShow.com, our social medias. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, at SleazyFatman. I'm at TWS Sleazy. Fatman's at TWS Fatman. Instagram, we're still on, kind of, maybe. Yeah.
Sleazy just keeps posting pictures of Asians.
You're damn right. I just keep following Asian wrestlers. That's all that happens on there. But that's pretty much it for the show. So for Sleazy,
For the Fat Man.
This is The Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain in the game. The bloodshed in your name. When there's nothing to gain, all the world gonna stand.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.